Hi everybody, Spooky Doll Lady Chris, and we're going to be painting the Nerdy Crafter figurine today. I've already, as you can see, put the base coat on, and it is a nice dark blue, that phthalo blue that Bob Ross loves. And you can see I put a black base coat under it, and I just did a thin layer of the blue so that it has sort of, not patchy, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, I guess it sort of is patchy, but with the paint job that I'm going to be doing, it's going to be exactly perfect. So, and of course I have like half of my paint drawer out again today because this look requires lots of paint. I'm going to be doing a lot of dry brushing with sponge brushes. And I'm not going to say what I'm doing until I start doing it. So I'm going to get about, I don't know, probably I'll go for like the first 10 minutes without saying anything. So that if anybody wants to try and guess what I'm doing, you can guess without being spoiled. I don't know that you're going to be able to guess right away, but I think once I get a couple of colors on there, it's going to be fairly obvious what's going on. It might already be just based on the colors alone. Um, because I have dark blue on him and I have a bunch of glitters and metallics over here. I didn't grab a napkin to throw my little stir sticks onto, so let me reach behind me really quick. There we go. I always forget something. I also didn't put my silicone mat down, which is literally right next to me. I don't I don't know why I didn't do that. But I literally, as I started the stream, looked over and went, oh, I should have put that down. It's fine. I'll just have glitter on the table for a bit. Sorry, Mom. Who's going to be making cookies later? Table might be a little bit glittery. My bad. It's fine. It'll be fine. All right, so I'm mixing up my paints that are in the jars because sometimes they get a little thick from sitting and they don't shake very well in the little jars. There's just not enough paint there to get them shaking properly. Um, so I'm going to have to stir each of these. And then I'm going to scoop just a little bit out because I want really, really, really thin layers. Um, especially with these pastels. Whoops. Oh, that one's pretty liquidy already, so we're good. That one doesn't really need to be stirred. Oh, I should be scooping them as soon as I stir them, shouldn't I? Let me move the little alien for a second. Oh no. Whoopsies. I made a bit of a mess already. I just started. 3.5 minutes in and there's already paint all over the table. Okay. My art streams are chaos. I'm sure my viewers who are not used to watching my art streams will figure that out very quickly. The ones that I label as chaos streams are really just out of control, but even when I try not to be chaotic, I get 3.5 minutes into a stream and get paint all over my table. Whoopsies! Alright, okay, so I need to get a little bit of this purple out. I think I'm going to use less of the purple, this purple anyway, because I have another purple that has a little bit of glitter in it. And I'm going to use more of that. I don't know if anybody's watching yet because I know I just started, but if anybody's watching and has a guess as to what I might be doing with all of these colors of paints. Please feel free to put your guess in the comments. And if you guess right, I will tell you. Oh my God, there's just a squirrel on my patio. We feed them peanuts, so when they run out of peanuts, sometimes they just sit on the patio with their little paws up, begging. Alright, so there's a metallic purple. And I'm going to take just a tiny little bit of this white. This is my UV reactive white. And I don't know if the way that I was planning on using it is even going to use enough paint to be reactive, but I just thought just in case it would be kind of fun to use the UV reactive paint. So just a teeny tiny little bit of that there. Okay, that's all the little ones. Put those over there. Just a little bit of these. Oh, I don't think I want to put the glitter ones into the palette just yet because they'll settle if they sit too long. So a little bit of silver. Thank you. Bronze. Put a little bit of pink over here. I don't know if I'm going to use the pink or not. Let's see if it starts looking too cluttered with too many colors. The squirrels are begging. I know. There's one just hanging out on the patio a few minutes ago. There's like 4 of them out there, so I think they already ate all the peanuts. Oh, okay. Make sure my hands are clean before I go grabbing my little duder. Alright, so I'm going to bring him back over here. I'm going to start, I think, with the blue, just because it's going to be the closest to the base color. So I'm going to, oh, that's too much paint. Very tiny amounts on a dry brush. And then I'm even going to take that and dab just a little bit of that off. See, it was still coming off kind of thick, so start over this shoulder and just take that and blend it in. See, I put it on one, I put paint on one corner because I'm going to use the other corner to blend because I don't want any of those thick little spots. I want it very well blended. I'm trying to just dab to blend and not so much smear it, because I also don't want streaks. Which is a little hard to do under the chin because it's obviously it's round. So I'm going to set the blue one over here for now and take a little, I don't know if you can tell, but the blue that I used also has very small amounts of glitter in it. These are the same colors that I used for my little petite alien dolls. It has the embedded glitter and mica powder. So I'm going to do sticking to the same side for now and sort of bringing it back up towards the other shoulder. I didn't get enough paint on this one, so it's not blending as well. Try and blend in the middle here. I feel like the glitter isn't really standing out as much in this purple, so I may use more of the other purple. But I think for now, that's good on the front side. I want to kind of work a little bit at a time so I have somewhere to grab that's not covered in wet paint. Putting it on this thin, it dries really fast. So by the time I get back around, I'll be able to touch that side again. So I'm thinking I'm going to stick with the blue and purples, and I probably won't use that pink, just because of how well these are standing out on the background. It doesn't look super great on camera. It's a little bit more noticeable in person. Just a little bit more of that blue. And I'll go this way first. I'm going to do the hand. And that a little better. And even a little bit more over here because I think I blended it a little too well. Okay. So there we go. All right, and go back to purple. Go back to the blue and just blend them together a bit. Probably should put some of the dark blue out too, just in case I need to bring it back in places. Here we go. Use this one because I do still want to have a good edge. So, like, I'm going to bring this side in a little bit more. I think I probably put a bit too much. So, I'll just darken that a little bit. Just not working as well as I had hoped. Oops. That's okay. It's on the back. This is where I'm going to kind of swirl, try and mix some of that together. And then I can go over it. Like that. There. Okay. So I'm going to do this last third and then I will start on the head. And obviously I did not I did not remember to put together a new playlist. So I have no background music again. Oops. I was kind of focused on trying to catch up on the backlog of streams that I've been putting on my YouTube channel, and I completely forgot to look for new background music. So I just won't have any today. I don't know if you guys heard that. My mom's being hilarious in the background. She offered to put some Christmas music on for me. I hate Christmas music. No, thank you. It'll just be a quiet stream. No, no Christmas music. Just a little bunny fur. I see it. I just keep missing it. There we go. Doesn't matter if I store my sponge brushes in drawers. The second they come out, there's bunny fur on them. Get the back of the arm a little bit. Alright, I'm just going to take, see how it's just doing little itty bitty dots of color. So now that it's almost out of paint, I'm just going to, smeared by accident. So let's fix that. I'm going to take and do these little bitty dots all over in the spaces where it's still solidly dark blue. So just in case anybody hasn't figured out what my surprise paint job is today, it's a galaxy. So these little tiny pinpricks of paint that are going down are like little bitty stars. And then the clusters obviously are the galaxies. Alright, so go back to the purple. Do a little bit of purple down here. Purple one's just not blending as well for some reason, but that's okay. Learning to work with it. Purple clusters on the hand. There, see, it blends better with my finger than with the brush, so I'll just do that. So the good thing about this is it hides all of the not quite so smooth areas where I was trying to fill the holes with the clay and it didn't blend perfectly smooth. They hide really well under these little dots of star clusters. So what I should have grabbed today and didn't think about, the reason that I'm doing a galaxy paint job is because the little gumball aliens that I based my little sculpture on, one of my favorite ones that I kept is a clear blue plastic with multicolored glitter in it that kind of looks like a little galaxy guy. So that's what this one is inspired by, but I forgot to grab him off my desk. So I'll have to remember to go grab it when I do the final Instagram pictures later. I'm trying to put just a few of these little clusters inside of the hand, even though I think I'm going to have stuff in his hands. You probably won't see him. But I still feel like it looks a little silly if there's nothing on the inside of the hand. Okay, so that is the body done. The little galaxies. Obviously not done because I wouldn't have taken out all of these colors if that's all I was going to do. but it's the base layer. Throw a few more little purple speckles around. Maybe put another cluster right here, just a really small one. No, I don't want to do too much because it's got a big cluster right here. Yeah, okay. I'm going to start on the head. So start right here because I've already got a little bit to kind of work off of. A few little spots around. And add some purple. If I bring the purple up higher than the blue. And the next one in around here. Put kind of like a little oblong kind of galaxy here. Kind of coming off of that other one. Blue over. Let's see, put some spots in here. I'm not going to worry too much about putting the little blue and purple spots of stars because that's what the metallics and glitter are for. I'm going to flick it on there after I get the base coat on. Stop judging my own work. I keep looking at it and finding things I want to go and fix, but I know if I try to fix things, I'm gonna make new problems instead because that's how my brain works. So I'm gonna ignore them and move on. Too much. So I do want to add at least one cluster towards the top of the head so it's not all centered directly onto the body. So I'm going to put this one kind of over the eye. And I'm not really worried about the paint getting on the eye because this is resin and I can take alcohol later and put it on a Q-tip and clean that off. I'm going to be painting the eyes anyway, so I'm going to have to clean them before I paint them. And I figure I'd rather just get all of the paint on them rather than continuing to try and clean in the middle of painting. So there's a lot of paint on there right now, but it's not going to stay on there. I'm going to be doing the eyes just silver with a little bit of mica powder just to give it some extra glitter, and then I'm going to throw another liquid layer of resin on top of it just to make them extra shiny once the paint dries. Okay, so I think that's actually good. I don't want to do too much on the head. I'm going to do probably, because I have this big cluster here, I'm going to bring that up just a tiny bit and then throw the little speckles of stars and let them sit for maybe a minute or two just to fully dry before I start flicking the metallics and the glitters all over. So it's going to be kind of hard to get into this crevice. I'm hoping, yeah, that's working. I can kind of pull it with my finger. Just a little bit more, so I think I'm going to even get this wetter than I normally would. Just on this little corner, so I can put it in there and then use the dry corner to blend it. Yeah, that worked. Okay, now we're in business. All right. Okay, back to purple. Oh, I want to throw some little spots. Okay, so purple. Freckles on the head of the purple. Okay. So here's my little galaxy alien so far. Okay. Set this one aside for right now because now comes the fun part. So I need a couple of brushes for the different colors. So I watched a bunch of galaxy painting tutorials over the last couple of days, trying to figure out the best ways to do this. I saw one that used a fan brush that looked like it worked pretty well, so for this I am going to put my little mat down because this is going to make a big mess if I don't. Okay, so little guy here, and I don't know if this paint is just too thin or if this really isn't working. The silver is actually the thinnest of the metallics, so let me try with the bronze maybe, because the bronze is a bit thicker. Like you can even see as I'm putting it on the brush, I think this is the thickest of the three, so if this is going to work, yeah. It does, but it's not like super effective. I've gotten better results than this with other brushes, so I'm gonna give up on the fan brush. I don't know if the person that I watched just had a better technique, maybe. I feel like there's not a whole lot of technique to flicking your finger across a brush. Yeah, see, this is working better. It's really going to be hard to get this on camera because this is going to make really, really tiny little speckles. Can you see that? So I think the only way I'm really going to be able to effectively show it is to just flick it and then hold it up. So you kind of just have to keep the paint at the bottom of the brush, like you don't want it getting up towards the metal, what is that called, a ferrule I think it's called. You want to keep it down on the bottom of the bristles. See, that's working pretty well. It gives you nice irregular little spots so it doesn't look like you just painted on polka dots. Ooh, that was a big long streak. I don't want big long streaks. Try and blend that into the little galaxy that's already there. Some little streaks is okay because I can just pass that off as like shooting stars or something, but you don't want like a big long one like that. Alright, so it's on the edges and the bottom again. Just the closer you hold your finger, the bigger the little spots are going to be, obviously. thickness of the paint makes a difference too, because again, this is the thinnest of my metallic paints. So these are going to be much smaller than when I move on to the other colors. Let's just blend that. Pick some of that up. I don't know if you can see my mat, but that's why I put the mat down. I'm going to have to wipe off my brush mug later. Just a little bit more. It's getting too far up on the brush. It is kind of hard to keep it down there because it gets on your finger as you're flicking. Big streak. Blend that in. Try not to grab any of the wet spots. There we go. So I'm going to do this last little section of silver. And then move on to the next color. Probably going to do gold next because gold is the next thinnest. And do bronze last because I think those are going to end up being much bigger spots because it's so much thicker than the other two. And then that way, if I need to go over it with the silver and gold again to kind of blend them in a bit, I can do that. I'm just going to wipe the brush in between because you don't want to do this with a wet brush, otherwise you're just flinging water. Because acrylic paint is water-based. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to do some of the gold. You can see again the gold is thicker than the silver, but it's not quite as thick as the bronze. So but I think it might stand out a bit more just because it's a warm color against a bunch of cool colors. So I'm going to do just a little bit at a time at first just to make sure that it looks okay. I'm just trying to get this area because his head is tilted slightly down. I'm going to mix it up too. Because it's starting to settle a little bit and I'm not getting as much of the sparkle. So I want to make sure that I'm getting, oops, that I'm getting nice sparkly spots. Except everywhere that ends up with a big streak. So I'll just blend that. I feel like maybe it's not showing up as well as I thought it would. Oh, except for this over here, I got another streak. Let me see if I can try and blend that a little bit. It's okay. So I've got, oops, the bottom of the brush coated. Just get a little bit of my finger. Yeah, so you get some thicker spots with the thicker paint. All right. Oops, painted my camera. Too thick. There we go. This side a little bit better. One more layer on the front here. Just get some of this off of my finger first. Blonked him on the eyeball. That's why I'm not worrying about cleaning the paint off yet, because it's just going to keep getting paint on it until I'm done. All right. That's enough gold. I'm going to do just a little bit with the bronze. And then I'm going to do the glitters. This also works better if you use a brush that's a little bit frayed. So I got my janky brush. Now, how did that happen? Oh, that's okay. We'll blend that a little bit. fixed. Alright, back. Okay. I have a brush for the glitter paints. I don't want to use my regular ones because once you put these glitter paints onto a brush, it doesn't come off. There's just glitter in there forever. So I'll be using a different one for that. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at my mat now. I haven't even done the glitter yet. My camera has metallic speckles all over it. Alright. I don't know how well these are going to work for this because I've never tried to do it before. But I use these when I do my Galaxy Glitter eyes on the alien dolls. And they look really good, so I figured I'd try it. And these ones are actually okay if they come out really streaky because they're basically glitter glue. So anything that isn't specifically a piece of glitter will turn clear when it dries. So it should just look like little streaks of stars going through the sky. Or at least that's that's the hope. But they're also super watery because they're basically just glitter glue. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I didn't put him down, so I gotta get the chin. Do his little chin with all three colors before I tilt him back up. Just because otherwise they're not going to get under there. Oh my gosh, it just smells like glue now. I've never squeezed all three of these out at the same time, so I never noticed how much they straight up smell like Elmer's glue. My other paint doesn't really have a smell, so that's kind of funny. Ooh. Okay, there we go. That should be plenty on the little chin. I'm gonna just blend these a tiny bit because I don't want them to be raised when they dry. So let's just kind of wipe that off. Just kind of dab it. Okay, so I think that's gonna be good. So let me do the rest of the front now. Oh my gosh. Just have layers of paint peeling off of this finger now. I'm using a lot more of this than the metallics because, again, everything that isn't specifically a piece of glitter is going to dry clear. So you kind of have to use a higher concentration to get anything to show up. Oh jeez, my phone is blowing up. Get a little bit more purple. I want purple. Ooh, the wider brush, it's kind of hard to keep it right down at the bottom where it needs to be. But I think that's probably good. So let's turn. I have to keep like scraping it off the top of the brush here and back onto the bottom because it won't flick if it's not right on the bottom of the brush there. Oops. This is really weird because it also is getting like frothy. My normal paint doesn't get frothy when I do the flicking because I do this all the time when I do like freckle painting on dolls, but I've never tried to do it with glitter paint before. There's a good thick bit right there. Let's kind of smooth that. I actually don't know that this is working all that well, so I think what I might do is just dab in random places instead. I think this is just making too much of a mess for as minimally effective as it seems to be. Oops. Well, you just got a little bit extra on you. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to just put some layers right over everything. Put them all over these clusters. These do not dry as quickly, so it's a little harder to be able to pick them up and move them while I do this. And I'm going to do a little bit less of the pink because it's a bigger glitter. Yeah, see, you can already see that one a lot better. So I used very little of this. I borrowed this from my niece. The pink glitter is more her thing, but it does add depth to my galaxy painting, so I throw a little bit in there. And just give that a second. Then I will do the white. So let me try just doing a little bit of the white on top here, because there's not quite as much going on top. Okay. I feel like it's looking pretty good so far. So once I get these on, I'm going to blend just a tiny little bit of the silver into the little galaxy clusters. And then I'm going to go with this white, which is the UV reactive white, and add just a few bigger stars in a couple of places. All right, that should be dry enough to handle at this point. Oh, maybe not, as I stick my finger in it. Okay. A bit of white. I think the white is actually the smallest glitter, so this one should be okay to put around the edges. Maybe like that. Oops, not purple, white. So it looks very white and busy right now, but once this dries down, it should be mostly back to the dark blue with the little clusters of color. I'm going to put a little bit of this inside of the hands too. I got all three colors up to the top, so I'll just paint the insides of the hands with those, and then I won't feel like they're naked. Okay. Turn you this way so I can see what I'm doing. And the final coat of silver is just going to kind of blend everything back together a little bit, so it's not just the glitter standing on top of the colors and everything. It should pull it all back together. Again, that's the hope. That's one of those things that I picked up from watching the tutorials that I haven't actually tried before. So I guess we'll see if it actually works or not. Just a little sprinkles because this is a tiny, teeny tiny glitter. Okay, so that should be good on that. Put that in the same water, but it should be okay because the glitter will all go to the bottom. And my silver has all settled again, so let me throw a little fresh silver in there. Give it a little stir. I want just a really small amount, so maybe even half of what's on there now. And I'm just going to blend it into the little galaxy areas. I'll do this one last because it still looks very wet. Turn them carefully. really pick them up, so I'll try doing this. I'm gonna hope that this is okay. So my hope is that the silver, because it is so watery, will just blend really nicely into these partially dry glitter paints, and that'll help thin it out even more and make it blend even better. And then it'll give like just a really slight metallic shimmer. I'm trying to really carefully pick them up. Just a little bit down here. All right. What a mess. All right. Okay, so short stream, but I think that's gonna have to be it because until he's dry, I can't really do the eyes. So what I may end up doing is I might just record that and put it up when I put the recording of this stream on YouTube. I'll put that up either at the same time or whenever I get it done. I don't know if I'm going to get it done this week or not. But obviously with this much of a mess, I can't, I'm not getting anything else done today. So I think that's going to be it. I'm just going to move him somewhere I can keep him stable to dry and clean my table up. Yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching. Now you can know how to do your own galaxy paints. If you're watching on YouTube, there should be another video recommended over here and a subscribe to the playlist of Crafternoon streams on the other side. So, okay, bye.